and welcome to Leading Entrepreneurs of the World. Leading Entrepreneurs of the World features entrepreneurs, founders, and business leaders presenting on cutting-edge topics and the latest in industry developments. Our goal is to provide the global business and entrepreneurial communities with a window into the minds of those who are shaping the future of the world. Today, we're very pleased to welcome global marketing leader and entrepreneur, Beatrice Mok. Beatrice Mok is the Chief Marketing Officer of Kacific. At Kacific, Beatrice is overseeing brand and go-to-market strategy and planning in 25 markets. Kacific is a next-generation broadband satellite operator committed to providing universal, fast, high-quality broadband access at an affordable cost using robust technologies and an agile business model. Beatrice is a marketing specialist with a long experience working in leading telecommunications companies and creative agencies. Beatrice was previously with Singtel, Asia's leading telecommunications company with over 4.1 million customers in Singapore. Beatrice, it is a great pleasure to have you here with us today to hear more about banishing digital darkness and satellite connectivity, accelerating economic growth. Thank you and welcome to Leading Entrepreneurs of the World.
Thank you, Stelios. Thank you for having me today. I'm very honored to represent Kacific Broadband Satellites Group. As Stelios very nicely introduced, we are a next-generation broadband satellite operator serving 25 regions across Southeast Asia and the Pacific, serving rural and suburban communities. So our first Ka-band high-throughput satellite, Kacific 1, was launched in December of 2019. And today, less than 2 years after the satellite was launched, we are actually the largest Ka-band satellite operator in Asia Pacific. We have a steady growth rate of over 1,000 sites connected per month, if you can see today at a glance. And the successful launch and deployment of Kacific 1 and the current strong demand for our services has allowed us to prove our capabilities and business case. Today, Kacific 1 meets the needs of only 1% of our total addressable market, and there's a significant growth opportunity for us to tap on. We are preparing for the launch of our next satellite, Kacific 2, to cover existing high-demand markets such as Philippines and Indonesia, and expand our reach into Southeast Asia, Central Asia, and West Asia, and are looking to launch 7 more satellites globally by 2023. So what Southeast Asia and the Pacific needs today actually is access to internet at a speed that allows them to fully participate in the digital world. There is a need for increased data communication because there is only one internet, the same high-speed internet that supports YouTube, Facebook, Skype, Zoom, the same internet that major cities around the world are connected to. Our markets need quality, accessibility, which means a setup that is nimble enough for them to easily install in the community, and affordability, one that gathers all these attributes at the right cost. Cost is paramount in our markets to banish digital darkness. Affordability is very important, otherwise it will discourage people from participating. So at Kacific, we designed our systems to be able to provide this quality and to get close to the same experience that everyone has in the digital world today. So at the very heart of what we do, we enable businesses, governments, and communities to fully participate in the digital world and solve the endemic lack of affordable broadband internet in the underserved regions of the world. And by doing so, we drive economic growth and empower communities to make a rapid and lasting difference to the people of Southeast Asia and the Pacific. So the satellite industry is historically known for high barriers to entry. And this is largely because there's huge upfront capital investment. There is a need for niche knowledge and deep understanding of international regulations and country-specific know-hows to get things up and running, much less in Southeast Asia and Pacific. These are markets where traditional operators only consider approaching from a corporate social responsibility angle, because these rural areas do not offer sufficient dollars per square mile to justify this terrestrial infrastructure. So satellite is actually really the best option for these markets, but price sensitivity is one of the major consideration and hurdles for these markets that we actually service today. But what Kacific has managed to do is to find success in delivering meaningful and impactful services while keeping our business model sustainable. And how do we do it? Number one, the strategic choice in choosing Ka-band technology and Kacific 1, our high throughput satellite, means that we reuse the same spectrum and frequencies multiple times in 56 spot beams. These use a much higher total throughput than the traditional fixed satellite operators. And what this translates to is really greater spectral efficiency and hence a lower cost per bandwidth. So this allows us to actually resell these internet services at a more affordable price point. So that's the services, and we have to talk about equipment as well. Number two will be making these services compatible with VSAT, very small aperture terminals. So our antennas are really small. They start from 75 cm in diameter. And this actually helps with cost savings because the price of each terminal is reduced by at least 50% in most cases, while still being able to achieve high speeds of up to 85 Mbps, which has the potential of connecting an entire village, while traditional KU band technology would only go up to 20 Mbps. So for these end users in these markets who are traditionally reliant on C-band or KU band technology, our new generation KA band technology introduced a brand new connectivity experience where satellite internet is now high speed, affordable, and also reliable. And we are very happy to say that we are able to reduce the price per unit and cost per GB by at least 50% in our markets, where in the past 1 GB of internet could cost up to $4 a month in these markets. It can now be purchased for less than $2, which is appealing and empowering to many in the remote Asia regions. So what we do is that we actually have a hybrid business model, and this birthed from the hit of COVID-19 in our markets in 2020. What happened was that many businesses were not able to see through their wholesale satellite connectivity projects when COVID hit their business. So demand for wholesale contracts became much lower in the markets as well. People were not keen to sign long-term contracts. And what happened is that as such, a traditional B2B managed service satellite operator like us, we actually pivoted and moved down the value chain to patch the affordability gap and provide alternative paths to increase our market share in these markets. So today we have both wholesale bandwidth as well as end user ready package solutions. And we have innovated both to help our customers and penetrate the markets and meet the demands that they need. So on the left, there's the traditional wholesale dedicated bandwidth where telcos, ISPs, governments would deploy broadband, mobile backhaul, fiber backup, and trunking, which is what many traditional satellite operators do. On the right is what is actually quite pioneering and very interesting, which is packaged bandwidth solutions, gig starter, community Wi-Fi, packaged bandwidth. So what happens is that we have actually innovated both to build an ecosystem for either multi-year wholesale contracts on the left or packaged retail contracts on the right. For retail packages on the right, I'd like to talk a little bit more about that. So we have this thing called Gig Starter, which is the retail bandwidth that came up as a solution, as a pioneering B2B2C retail model to complement the wholesale business on the left. It is a pre-packaged, no contract, monthly broadband plan, so plan by plan, side by side, via our local partners in the market, internet service providers, to end users who wish to be connected to the internet. So these plans are residential and smaller enterprise plans. They come with very light, easy to install VSAT terminals, which I was mentioning earlier, which is very affordable. It also comes with logistics and marketing support. What this means is that there are no heavy investments needed to resell our Gig Starter plans if you are a budding entrepreneur or if you're ISP in the market, because it is already fully priced, fully designed, and fully managed by Kacific. So what we did is that we also franchised these to many smaller distributors in the markets across the countries, across the bigger countries that we have, like Philippines and Indonesia. So what happens is that these entrepreneurs are able to expand to the remote villages and rural islands in the region. And this franchise retail model spreads the decision-making process across thousands of end users, rather than leaving the purchase decision to a handful of service providers and governments. And most importantly, because we commoditize down the value chain, this helps us to ensure that the broadband internet services are commoditized at fair prices in our markets, meeting the needs of our local users and staying true to our mission of bridging the digital divide. So in line with our vision, Kacific actually addresses three main ESG pillars, which is education, healthcare, and economy. And today in the new normal, we have actually seen COVID-19 impacting all aspects of society. You can see that 50% of students are still affected by school closures. For every month's delay in expanding access to COVID-19 vaccines, tests, and treatments, the world is losing 120,000 lives. And economic recovery will likely be uneven. There will be greater inequality in the coming years, and an equivalent of 255 million full-time jobs will be lost in terms of working hours in 2020. And the worst hits are, of course, workers in the informal economy, young people, and women. And what are we doing for this? So for economic opportunities, we believe in connecting people to economic opportunity affordably with what we do. So how we have done it is, we support the business and generate jobs in these underserved rural communities. With Kickstarter and the distribution chain, we have over 1,000 distributors in our markets, and it grows by 10% on a month-on-month basis. So any entrepreneur can actually decide to pick up and sell our Kickstarter services in the markets and connect the community around them easily and affordably. Education. So our footprint in education premises has doubled over the last 6 months. Our internet service will continue to boost teaching and learning capabilities of students and teachers. So programs are already being set in place to maximize the benefits of resources and capabilities via the internet. And for healthcare, a growing number of healthcare facilities are using our services across Asia Pacific, which I will share later on as well. And we expect to connect another 1,000 sites within healthcare premises over the next 24 months. And we are happy to share that we are actually providing digital connectivity to more and more people in remote locations at very affordable rates, which are in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goals today. So we actually exceed the affordability target set by ITO and UNESCO. Today, 1 GB of Kacific data is lower than 2% of GNI per capita for Indonesia, Philippines, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, and Vanuatu, as you can see on the graph on the right. So deep diving a little bit more into each of the pillars. Today, we are looking to provide connectivity to 2,500 education institutions. In Fiji, we work with Vodafone to commission a VSAT site for St. John's College when the Category 5 TC Winston hit. For healthcare, we actually expect to connect 10 times more healthcare premises in the next 3 years. We are working with partners such as the Sustainable Development Programme to provide connectivity to healthcare institutions located in remote areas of Papua New Guinea's Western province. And obviously, our impact has not gone unnoticed. It has been picked up by various trade and local media over these 2 years across the regions that we actually serve. So how do we do this? This comes about through various products and solutions for the different market applications and customers that we serve across education, community broadband, healthcare, disaster response, and more. I just want to touch very briefly on some of the services that are the key pillars of Kacific's solutions. Of course, there will be Flex VNO, which is uncontented and low-cost bandwidth for telecom operators and governments with speeds of up to 1 Gbps, which gives them the flexibility to manage their own bandwidth across the fleet of terminals and sites. Kickstarter, which I mentioned above, the retail bandwidth. This makes it affordable for small businesses and residential customers. These are pre-packaged plans that offer from 40 to 120 Mbps with entry prices of just around USD $150 a month. And we are always innovating, and we also recently introduced a new modem, MDM 2010, which lowered our terminal costs by another 40%, making the entry fee starting from USD 530. So it goes back to making internet accessible and affordable, which is really the heart of what we do. And lastly, we have community Wi-Fi, which is a service which can connect an entire village via voucher-enabled Wi-Fi hotspots. So with a very powerful system that can connect up to 200 people, any individual in the village can actually connect to the internet through the purchase of a Wi-Fi voucher. So a 1 gig data voucher costs just USD $2 today, which can be valid for up to 3 days. So these are, I would say, the 3 most popular solutions that a lot of our partners actually deploy today to serve the unserved communities in the region. So our services have proven to be and served as a great social leveler, where communities previously were not able to connect to crucial healthcare services during COVID-19, or where students were previously disconnected from the outside world and not able to compete with their urban counterparts. We have stepped in to bridge that gap. And I will talk about some of the case studies in the following slides. So in Vanuatu here, we actually work with our partner on ground, Trilling Communications, to connect IRIFA ports development and services with Kickstarter plans. So this is actually in line with the Prime Minister's directive for maritime safety, especially for smaller vessels which are entering the ports. And with internet, they are now able to do logistic and fleet management and upskilling of their workers. Same in Vanuatu for the rural construction companies. Internet is very important for project management at these companies, which are often located at remote sites and need to connect back to the headquarters. So for the Brandway hydropower project, they are the first power station at Malekula, which is a province in Vanuatu at a remote area. And we are happy to connect them with Kickstarter for them to keep in touch with headquarters and stay connected to the loved ones. So for example, in this very beautiful picture of Papua New Guinea, e-learning is very crucial for national progress and development, especially for Pacific Islands. So we installed Kickstarter in 28 educational institutions, and it connects 15,000 students and teachers today. And one of them is actually the School of Nursing, which further enhances the medical knowledge for budding nurses in the country today. And in Indonesia, with Primacom, we partnered with them to provide affordable broadband in Indonesia, no matter where they are, especially for a country that is made up of many islands like Indonesia. So be in desas, which what they refer to as villages, or suburban cities. Now governments, financial institutions, agri-businesses now all have access to flexible series of products that let them be connected anywhere and everywhere. So I'm proud to share that Kacific was set up in 2013 by a core team of senior satellite professionals. We are backed by a group of investors with very extensive experience in global telecommunications and infrastructure. Christian, our CEO, has been consistently recognized by his peers and was awarded Satellite Executive of the Year 2019 by the Asia Pacific Satellite Communications Council. And as an innovative leader in space and telecommunications category, our awards include Business as a Force for Good, Asia Pacific Telecoms Deal of the Year, Best Digital Inclusion, Better Satellite World Award, and recently we won Project of the Year in 2021 by the Global Carrier Awards. So this is actually what I have today, and I'm very excited and proud to share of all the good work that Kacific has done for the regions that we serve today. Thank you.